right, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys keep talking, it's all right. Good? 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. What a great setup. Great to be back in Santa Rosa County. Great to see you all. Thank you for being here. We're excited about today's announcement that'll be good for this area and many parts of the state of Florida. I'm joined here today by Benjamin Melnick, who's the Deputy Secretary of the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity, Marva Johnson, Group President for Charter Communications, and Rhett Rowell, a teacher here in Santa Rosa County. And we also have Our cadre of legislators, Senator Doug Broxton is here. We have Representatives Salzman, Maney, Andrade, Abbott, and Rudman all here from Northwest Florida. And we're, as many of you know, we have a legislative session, main session in March. They already did one in December to do hurricane relief, but also the toll relief. And so in February, people are going to start getting, if you do the tolls as a commuter and you hit enough of the threshold, they're going to rebate you 50% of your tolls every month with these passes. And so I think that's going to be really good for a lot of people. They also we did a lot on hurricane. We did other things in that one. And I think they're going to do a special session in a week or two, I think maybe next week, about a whole bunch of different things that need to be taken care of, including making sure that Disney doesn't have self-governing status anymore. So that's done. We were able to, yesterday, unveil our budget for the next year. And it's interesting, when I became governor in 2019, it wasn't like Florida was doing bad. Florida was doing well. I mean, everyone was happy. I was happy. And that budget was a good budget. It was lean. We had about $5.2 billion in total reserves for that budget. Fast forward now, 4 years later, even though we went through pandemic, inflation, supply chain disruptions, all the things that have happened over these last 4 years, we were able to go propose a budget not at $5.2 billion in surplus, but $15.7 billion in surplus. And I think my first year we did a big tax relief, like $335 million. People were happy with it. Yeah, but this budget we were able to propose, if you include the tolls that was already enacted, $500 million. We're going to be over $2 billion in tax relief for you and many Florida families, which I think is going to be really good. And we're doing things like we're abolishing sales tax on all baby items, the diapers, the wipes, baby clothes, baby formula, cribs, strollers, everything. And so we want to be family friendly. It's hard enough raising kids as it is. And those are costs that you have to do. It's not like I'll go vacation or something. It's like, you need all that stuff for the young ones. And so that'll now be tax-free. You'll be able to raise these kids tax-free, which we're excited about. We're also abolishing sales tax permanently on over-the-counter pet medications because people need to take care of their pets. And so no tax on that. And because of things that have happened more recently, we're also eliminating permanently the sales tax on gas stoves. They are coming after people's gas stoves. New York is just doing something to ban. So as they're banning, we're saying no tax. But this is just a principle of this, that they want to control every single aspect of your life. They want to be able to determine what type of energy you're allowed to use, how much energy you're allowed to use. And so this is all part of a larger scheme. And so I think in the state of Florida, we're saying, don't tread on us on this. We're going to stand for people's freedoms. And we also have a bunch of other tax stuff, full one-year holidays on things like children's books, kids' athletic equipment, children's toys. We have all pet food for next year, or for the next fiscal year, 100% tax-free. We've got other things, all household items under $25, 1 year tax-free for all that. So detergent, trash bags, all that you're doing. So if you think about it, all these things, especially a family that has kids, that's adding up. I mean, that's probably going to save them certainly hundreds of dollars, but I think most likely thousands of dollars over the course of a year if you add up the tax from everything that's there. So we're excited about that. We're also doing things like, so we've always done back to school sales tax holiday so that parents can get what they need for their kids' schools, and it's usually leading up to the fall semester. Well, we're going to do that again. We're also going to do one for the spring semester. So you have two back-to-school holidays in the state of Florida. We're doing the disaster preparedness holiday again, 14 days where you're able to do what you need to do to prepare. I mean, we saw what happened in Southwest Florida. Big storms cause a lot of damage. You guys know that in Northwest Florida probably better than anybody. And it was interesting because people were, as we got into like mid-September, it was like the most quiet hurricane season anyone had ever had. And like, I didn't say anything, but the minute people started acknowledging that, you knew you were likely going to get. And so you never know what's happening. Hopefully we get by without a major one, but we want people to be able to prepare. We're also doing a 7-day, what we're calling a tool tax holiday. So particularly, I mean, it's for anybody. I mean, you do it around your house, but we got a lot of people who are tradesmen, handyman. That's what they do for their business, so they can buy tools tax-free during that week, which I think would be very good. And then we have the Freedom Summer tax holiday. So things like outdoor equipment, there'll be tax breaks on that. If you buy events, tickets for events, outdoor events, museums, all kinds of stuff, that'll be done because we want people to be able to enjoy the summer. Very busy up in this part of Florida in the summer. Some other parts it's not as busy because people all go north. The further south you are in Florida, the more likely people go north. But nevertheless, I think it's going to be good for the state as a whole. So that's by far the biggest amount of tax relief that the state has ever done in any single thing. Legislature, I think, is going to do most of this. They may have some other ideas, and that's fine, but we're going to be able to produce something really, really significant. And the idea is we're living through persistently high inflation. They cheer if it's 7% instead of 8%, but that's still going up. It's not like it's going down. It's just going up at a little slower rate. And you're not really getting any savings on the back end because I don't think the prices are going to return to pre-Biden levels. I just don't see that happening. So this is really giving people relief from the Bidenflation that we've seen really wreak havoc across the country, including here in the state of Florida. And I think we probably are doing more than any other state is doing with that. And if you think about what we're able to do in terms of our fiscal prudence and where we're at, we have our total debt for the state of Florida, $20 billion. Our economy in the state of Florida is over $1 trillion. So the debt to GDP in Florida is like 1.5%. Now, what does that mean? Well, the federal government and the U.S. economy, the federal debt is more than the entire U.S. economy. And so it's 31 trillion. Our economy is not that big. So the debt to GDP ratio, whereas in Florida it's 1.5%, federal government's like 130%. And so if you looked at the amount that every Floridian would owe to extinguish our debt, it'd be about $750 per person. For every American to extinguish the national debt would be $91,000 a pop. And that includes the little babies who were just born yesterday. It's not even just taxpayers. If you only count taxpayers, it's like $250,000 per taxpayer to be able to do that. So we've really done it right. We've been able to retire debt, but at the same time, and sometimes it's smart to do. When money was cheap, it was actually smart to do because if you have projects you know have to get done, you can get the money very cheap and do it. So it's not like having debt at all is bad, but we have an opportunity to pay it down even more. So we're doing a program that we put in our budget, debt reduction program. We're starting it with $400 million to be able to retire more debt earlier without having to pay as much interest on it. And so I think that's going to be very successful. But then because we have so much cash in reserves, we're proposing, and I think we're the first state to ever propose this, $1 billion in what we're calling a state investment fund. So it'll be able to be invested by the State Board of Administration, which is what invests our Florida retirement system money. And the first 3% of returns will just go back into the fund. The next 2.5% of the returns will go to debt reduction. And then anything above that just goes in the general kitty. But you have all this money sitting there. Why not make it work for the people of Florida? So I think it's innovative. I think it's good. It'd be something that you would only access as kind of a last resort. We have a rainy day fund. We've got a lot of different stuff. But being able to do that, putting it back into the fund, growing that for the state, but then beyond that, being able to do more and more debt, I think we're going to see our debt paid down even more rapidly. And 1.5%, again, I think it's like the second lowest in the country, our debt per capita of anybody. Some of these other states, I mean, you think about it, we've been running surpluses. California has a $25 billion hole in their budget. It's because a lot of people are moving out of California. A lot of them are, I mean, they didn't used to move to Florida from there, but now they have because things have gotten so bad. So we want to make sure we're continuing to do what's right for the folks in Florida. So I'm excited about where we are fiscally. I think there's going to be a lot of economic turmoil, unfortunately, because of a lot of the things Biden has done. But I think we're well positioned to do better than most other states, and we're fiscally certainly positioned to do that. So I want to thank everybody that's been involved in that. Part of what we've done is put a premium on infrastructure, making sure that we're doing things so that communities are able to prosper. I know we've done a lot in Northwest Florida. I know we've done a lot of job training, giving money for roads or bridges and all that stuff. Very important, especially when a state is growing. I'm not out there recruiting people to move to Florida, but they want to come here. I'm not even recruiting people to visit because I don't have to. People want to visit and vacation here. So it's good, but you know, there's issues that come with that, and so you got to make sure you have good infrastructure in place. So we've done a lot for that. We have a job growth grant fund that we do through a governor's office, so you could have like Santa Rosa County or Escambia or any apply and say, hey, can you give us some money? We want to do this or that. So we've worked with all the communities here to do that. And also in our rural communities, we've been able to do probably more for rural Florida than any governor has ever done. I think I'm the only governor that did public events in all 67 counties during my first term. It's not easy to do. I remember being in one rural county. I'm walking, and a fellow comes up to me just looking at me, and I'm like, I thought maybe, like, do I have something on my face? And I'm like, what? He's like, I've never seen a governor before in our county. So we're happy to do it. So we've done through the job growth, but we've also done our rural infrastructure fund. We're asking for $30 million for rural infrastructure in this year's budget. I think it's been very, very successful. One of the aspects of infrastructure that we've embraced is the need to make sure, and it's not actually just rural, it's largely that, but there's very populated counties that also have gaps, is making sure we're expanding access for broadband to make sure that all communities have access to high-speed internet. It's just important for the way our society functions. And so we were able to secure $400 million last year to expand broadband access across the state of Florida. So today, we are here to issue our first awards for broadband expansion in the state of Florida. And in fact, we are going to be able to award today for all the state, 41 counties, 58 different projects, $144 million in broadband access grants. So this will benefit many unserved homes and businesses all throughout the state of Florida. A lot of times they'll be maybe in rural areas. Sometimes they'll be in unincorporated areas, and they're just logistically haven't been able to do. So we're going to be able to come in and help with that. So here in Santa Rosa County, in partnership with Charter Communications, we're able to award today $2.3 million to provide fiber access to 791 unserved locations throughout Santa Rosa County, individuals and businesses. So it's important. Now, I must confess, even though we're doing this and we understand it's important for modern society, just as a father of a 6, a 4, and a 2-year-old, we don't want them mired on the internet or on these computers. I mean, my wife and I are like, you got to get out, you got to do things, and that's part of the things in schools. I made a comment, and some had a spasm over it, but anything I say, some have a spasm over. But I just pointed out that, these kids, if they're on their phones during class, texting and stuff, they're not going to be learning. And so really what you should do is you come into class, you leave the phone in like a cubby, you sit in class, grab the phone. You can use it during recess or something, but being buried in that thing all during the day, I don't think is healthy. And I think it's going to be a continued battle with young people, because when I was growing up, we had some things. I mean, they had like Nintendo video games, and they had some other things, but it wasn't to the extent. I mean, you had to get outside. We were out there playing. We were out there doing all that. Now, you really can just be doing devices and all this stuff day after day, and that's not healthy. So that's just an aside. We need the infrastructure. It's important for business. It's important for people to be able to use these tools, and we're going to make sure that we're doing it. But we also want to make sure that that our kids, that there's a good balance between what's going on with like online or a computer versus what's going on in kind of the real world and getting out and actually experiencing life. So we work really hard with our kids to be able to do that. We try to take, actually, I think First Lady, you'll probably have a couple of them. She's going to be on the road doing some more good work throughout the state of Florida, and we do, and it's great. But that's just, as a parent, is something that I think about. Okay, this is now where they have all this. What are they going to develop in the next 5 or 10 years? When our kids are teenagers, what are they going to be having? And it's not the best thought sometimes, because I think social media and a lot of that, there's been a lot of negative impact on our youth. I think that's just the bottom line. But nevertheless, I think this will help individuals. I think it'll help businesses be able to do important things and be able to have access to high-speed internet. So I'm going to give this check. So where are they at? Okay. Santa Rosa, you want to come? Come over here. There we go. Yeah, there we go. All right, congratulations. Yeah. So we're excited, and I think if you look, I mean, this is the map of where all the different areas are going to go, and it's pretty significant with the shaded counties. And it's interesting. I had kind of mentioned, there's some very populated counties that have 600,000-700,000 people, but they have really significant areas where you have underserved. So this is going to really answer the call, I think, for communities up and down the state of Florida. So we've got some folks here that you'll be able to hear from. So first, this is going to be Santa Rosa is going to be working with Charter Communications to be able to bring this into effect. And so we have Marva Johnson from Charter.
If you guys can't tell, I'm pretty excited. This is one of the most significant things that the governor is doing as it relates to my industry in his effort to make sure we have a strong framework for freedom here in the state of Florida. And it is an honor, it is an incredible honor for Charter to be partnering with Santa Rosa County to receive the first infrastructure investment to make sure that we're connecting kids, not to TikTok, but to opportunities to extend the learning day. We're connecting them not to Facebook, but to opportunities to make sure they have access to great telehealth and telemedicine. That Mayor Lindsay was just telling me about how one of her citizens is so excited that they're actually now going to be able to participate in telemedicine options. So as we think about what this is going to deliver for families, we actually believe it's really going to make sure that all of our Florida families are connected to the framework for freedom here in the state of Florida. And we're super excited to be partnering with, again, public-private partnerships that allow us to continue to make the infrastructure investment in rural communities that leaders like our governor, Ron DeSantis, have framed for us. Right? And also to get to work with our local communities and our local technology planning partners, like our local technology planning partner here in Santa Rosa County. Mr. Holly, are you around? You can raise your hand. And thank you. And again, good leaders hire great people around them. So again, getting to work with our partners at the Department of Economic Opportunity to bring these opportunities to every area of the state is just an honor. So thank you, and we're excited to build.
Yeah. Okay, Benjamin Melnick.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning, everybody. I'm Benjamin Melnick. I'm the Deputy Secretary for Community Development with the Department of Economic Opportunity. And I'm thrilled to be here and thrilled to be part of this exciting announcement starting the awards for the Broadband Opportunity Grant Program. And under Governor DeSantis' leadership, we've got a lot to do, and we're doing it. We're achieving many of these awards to bring this service and to start connecting Floridians so that they have access to these critical infrastructure services so they can engage in telehealth, they can engage in education, and they can engage in workforce training opportunities. Because connecting these communities, particularly in rural and small areas of the state, is really going to be a game changer to get these folks the opportunities they need to participate in job training, to expand what they've got going in their lives and improve everything around them. We truly believe that we've got a lot more coming thanks to the governor's leadership. We're just getting started with the Broadband Opportunity Grant Program. There's more to come with this. There will be more broadband programs as the office under Director Katie Smith has hit the ground running. We've got many more opportunities that we plan to work with the governor's leadership to bring to the communities of Florida. And we look forward to supporting the free state of Florida in the best way possible, creating opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, Rhett Rowell.
So imagine you're in your class teaching about the free American enterprise system in your economics class, and you get a call from the governor's office asking you to speak. And I didn't even know they knew who I was. But thank you, Governor. Thank you. I want to welcome you to Santa Rosa County and to thank you for what you're doing in our county and rural areas all across the state of Florida. My name is Rhett Rowell. I teach American government and economics at Jay High School. I've had the privilege of teaching in Santa Rosa County, one of, if not the best school district in the state of Florida. We all should be very proud of that. I've been at Jay High since 2007, which is my alma mater. Jay is the most northern school in Santa Rosa County and is in one of the most rural areas in our diverse district. There are many advantages to living in rural America, as we know, but internet usage is not one of them. There is a digital divide that exists within our district. Whether you're surfing in the south end or planting peanuts in the north end, the need for reliable internet is universal. Thankfully, our superintendent of schools, Dr. Barber, and our state representative, Dr. Rudman, and all of our elected officials look for opportunities to level the playing field and bring equal access to all of our students and families across our county. We have state-of-the-art technology in our schools. We have satellite classes where students are able to remotely attend classes at one school where we may not have a teacher teaching in that field. They can attend a class at a different school. But when students go home, the same access to technology is not there. I've seen firsthand the struggle that our students in rural areas have with accessing the internet. And whether it's uploading an assignment or downloading resources or trying to turn in some material for a dual enrollment class, our students in rural parts of our county are at a sizable disadvantage. And it's even worse in a hardship case. Imagine a student maybe comes down with a broken leg or becomes ill or maybe even just a death in the family. We can provide that student, and we do provide that student with technology, with a laptop to bring home so they don't fall behind. But if they don't have that internet at home, obviously it does little other than a paperweight. Rural broadband not only will be a direct benefit for our students, but our farmers as well. GPS technology continues to play a vital role in farming as we ask more from our farmers to produce more on less land. Being able to receive updates in remote areas will save valuable time and fuel costs. So while many people in rural areas and other states do without, help is on the way to rural Floridians and our students. Per usual, our governor leads the way and continues to be mindful of our needs and takes immediate action. So thank you, Governor DeSantis. Thank you for prioritizing this issue and helping our students.
Well, thank you. You guys need anything? No? You're good? You clap when he said Santa Rosa may be the best school district, but you got Okaloosa, so that's all right. Okay. Yeah, you got to be Homer on that. I get it. So, well, we're excited about this. We got much more to come. I know we're going to be doing a lot more over the next few months in terms of various types of infrastructure and in terms of various types of workforce training. You know, we did the when we did the commercial driver's license up in Northwest Florida for the more truck drivers, I think that was the first one we did. But what ended up happening when I became governor, you had about 600 truck drivers produced for our programs per year in Florida. Now we have 3,500 being produced per year. And this is, you know, the workforce is important for, I mean, one, it's opportunity. These truck drivers are starting out on good side. Not an easy job, a lot of wear, but I mean, they're compensated, I think, well if they're trained, which is great. And then you also have the situation where it's just necessary for our economy. I mean, these are critical things to have. You're going to have a lot of people are going to be retiring over the next 10 years, and we need to have more folks there. So we've had a lot of success on a lot of those things. And you know what? A lot of the workforce, where you get real concrete skills, you make more money than some of these people going to college and getting a degree in zombie studies anyways. So, all right, we got anyone back there? Any questions? Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, sir. You would know. Does it include the services or just the infrastructure?
It includes the infrastructure, but we do have wonderful programs to make the services affordable for every family. So for low-income families, you can actually get free service.
And is this, because I know we have both pots, is this all federal or is this part state?
This one's federal.
Yeah, this one's federal. We have in our budget, we have rural broadband as well. So we have actually more than one pot that we're going to be able to draw from, but this one's drawn from federal. Yes. Okay, so who, you guys involved in trying to get any funding or anything? He's talking about, what, sheet pilings? Well, that's local. I mean, so you have your state, she said talk to the local, so you can do that. But, you know, these state reps and senators, they do stuff in the budget, so talk to them. You know, I have no money except what they appropriate. So if they appropriate, you know, unless you're Biden, he just does what he wants and doesn't follow the Constitution. All right, well, you guys have some marching orders, so you should talk to this fellow over here. Yes? What's that? Okay. All right. Well, good deal. Well, great to see everybody. God bless, and thank you for coming out. We'll see you soon. This way?